Did you know there are two ways you can start your chunky knit blanket? Like start and make your chunky knit blanket. Yes, there are actually two ways you can make your chunky knit blanket, and I'm going to be showing you the two of them. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amara. I'm the owner of Snuggling Knit Designs. If today is your first time seeing any of my videos, thank you for stopping by. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I appreciate all the encouragement. It means a lot to me. And in today, I just wanted to make a blanket, and I thought, did you know there are two ways you can start your chunky knit blanket? Like start and make your chunky knit blanket. Yes, there are actually two ways you can make your chunky knit blanket, and I'm going to be showing you the two of them. They both look alike from afar, but up close there are slight differences in the two of them, which is what I'm going to be showing you. So I have this yarn b eternal bliss. It's light gray. That's the color I'm going to be using for this demonstration. So without further much yippee yappy, let's get into it. So for the first method, I'm just going to be showing the first method, then I'll make another one and start show you the second method and show you the differences or the similarities. So first you want to start with your slip knots. You can do a cancer sign like this and then pull from the middle and adjust. Once you pull it tight, you want to adjust this first chain to make sure it's about 3 fingers wide. Then I am going to be casting on 10 chains for the purpose of this tutorial, because it's a tutorial, it's not a full blanket. So I'm going to be casting on 10. We're going to have 10. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I feel like this 10 is going to be small. Let's make it 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, yeah, I think 15 will be fine. So you have the 15th one. That's your cast on chains. You have 15. This is just a tutorial, so it's not going to be really big. So now this is your working yarn. You want to pull through the last loop. You're going to pull through, but then make sure it's going up. Okay, and we're going to be pulling from the top parts of these cast on chains. We're going to be pulling from the top parts of the cast on chain. So we have one, you go in, you pull, that's 2. Find the second one, that's 3. Find the next one, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so you want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You want to make sure you have the same number of your cast on chains as the first row that you've pulled through. So this is the first method. We pulled from the top loops. Now to continue making the body of the blanket, I'm going to be knitting the end loops again, then knit the rest. I said this is just a tutorial, that's why the blanket is really small. Okay, now when I get to the end, I'm going to be knitting the end again. Okay, so now we have like 2 rows. I'm going to, for the third row, I'm going to knit the end again. I'm going to knit the end, then continue knitting. This is the third row. Then when I get to the end, I'm going to knit the end again. Now to start the fourth row, the same way, I'm going to knit the end, then continue knitting. When I get to the end, I knit. Then this is the fourth row. To start the fifth row, I'm going to knit the ends again. Then knit the rest until I get to the end. So this is what I'm going to continue doing. I'm knitting everything. When I get to the end, I'm going to knit it. Then before starting a new row, I'm going to knit the end again before starting a new row. So I've gotten to the end now. I'm going to knit it. So that's the fifth row. We have 5 rows now. So this is the 8th row. I'm going to knit 2 more rows, like have 10 rows, and then show you how to cast off. I think for the 2 methods, casting off is the same way to cast off for the 2 methods. So this is the first method or first way you can make your chunky blanket. You cast on, then you pull from the top parts. After pulling from the top parts, you are knitting your ends twice. Like if you're going from left to right, you knit until you get to the end. You knit the end stitches. Before you start a new row, you knit the end again and then start a new row. This applies to both sides, whether you're going from left to right or right to left. Okay, so now I'm done. I have 10 rows going up. I'm going to be casting off. The cast off is the same way. You knit the end again, and then this is how I prefer to cast off. Pull, cross over, pull, cross over. You want to make sure it's still about 3 fingers wide. Cross over. Some people prefer to cross and then knit the 2 of them together like that. Like this one that I put it over this one and then knit the 2 of them together. So that's another way you can cast off if that's easier for you. But I prefer to pull into this. So either way is fine. So I've always said, find what works for you and run with it. So if folding it over and knitting both of them is working for you, that's good. If you prefer to do like me, you knit and then cross over, that's still great. Okay, so now we're going to cut this off and tidy it up. I'm going to set this aside and then show you the second way you can make your chunky blanket. So now I'm going to be showing you the second method or second way to start and make your chunky blanket. So as always, you want to start with the slip knot. Whether you wrap it around your finger or you do the cancer sign, I prefer to wrap around my fingers, then pull and then adjust. As always, you want to make sure you have about 3 fingers wide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you want to make sure you have 3 fingers wide. Then you proceed to cast on. I'm going to be casting on 15, so it's the same as the first one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to count that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that's 15. So the 15th ones, I kind of make it smaller than every other ones. And then I'm going to pull one extra, which is the 16th one. This is the 16th. So if I lay it flat like this and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have 16 on this one. Unlike the first one, we just had 15. Now, watch this. I'm going to turn this blanket, this project, I'm going to turn it over because I casted on like this. Like if I want to add more, I'm doing it this way. But now I'm going to turn it upside down. Okay. Then I will get my working yarn to the other direction, which is to my left. It has to be to my left. This extra stitch that I added, I'm going to make sure it's facing upwards or pointing upwards. I need to make sure it's pointing upwards. The cast on chains, they have 3 parts. Let me spread it out. It has the top, the middle, and the bottom. If I spread out each one of them, you're going to see it. Top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom. They all have it. So now I'm going to be going through the middle parts of this cast on chain. Unlike the first one, I just started going through the top one. I didn't even turn it over to go through the top parts. I just continued. But this one, I added extra stitch, flipped it over, and then I'm going to go through the middle parts of each loop. I'm going to be skipping this first one because that's where this one is coming out from. I'm going to skip it and then go through this one, which is why we had the extra one, because we're skipping this first one. When I'm done pulling through, I should have 15 or 14, but you count the extra one, it's 15. So I should have 15 when I'm done pulling through the middle parts. Some people find it difficult, but I would say just spread it out a little bit so you can identify it, then hold it so you are pulling through it. You spread it out, you hold it, and then push the working yarn through it. Spread it, hold it, push the working yarn through, and grab it from the back. So I did a poll, and so many people said they prefer the middle, but some people still prefer the top, which is fine. There is no, it's just a matter of preference and how it makes the blanket look at the end of the day. Doesn't mean that if you're pulling from the top, you're doing it wrong, or if you're pulling from the middle, you are the champion. No, it's all about preferences. Like if you are going to add a border to your blanket, it doesn't really matter if you did it from the top or from the bottom if you're adding a border. So I'm almost done pulling through. And we are going to count once again to make sure we have 15. Okay, almost done here. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, plus that extra one, making 15. Okay, so now we have our first row. To make the second row, this is what I'm going to do. I am not going to knit this end stitch. I'm just going to leave it alone and then proceed to knit the second one. And then knit the end one. Then continue. Just knit the body of the blanket. Continue knitting until I get to the end. Okay, now I'm at the end. I'm going to knit this one. Now, what I do, I try to make these end stitches bigger than the ones on the body of the blankets, because I'm not going to knit it again before starting this row. No, I'm not going to do that. Come on, people, stay this side. So I'm going to make this one bigger than these, because I'm not going to double knit this one before starting. No, I'm not going to do that. That applies on the first method. This is the second method. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it alone once again and continue knitting the body of the blanket till I get to the end stitch on the other side. So now I'm at the end again. I'm going to knit. When I knit, I'm still going to skip it, then continue knitting. This should be the fourth row. Now I'm at the end again. I'm going to knit the end, but then leave it alone before knitting the fifth row. That's the fifth row. Now I'm at the end. I'm going to knit this. To start another row, I'm going to leave this first one, this end stitch alone, and proceed to knit the second one. And then just like that, that's what I'm going to continue doing until I'm done with the blanket. I'm going to be skipping the end stitches. So if you hear someone say they skipped the end, that's what they meant. They knitted from left to right. When they got to the end, they just knitted the end stitch one time and then skipped it. When they are doing the next row, they just skip it and proceed to knit the other ones. So that's, if you hear me say skip the end stitch, or yeah, skip the end stitch, that's what it means. Just drop it and continue knitting. Don't knit it twice like the first method. So I'll do this one 10 rows again and then show you the differences between the both of them. So I have 10 rows now. I'm going to be casting off same way I casted off the first method. I'm going to be knitting the end. Right, let me get some yarn. So I'm going to knit the end and knit it again. So in this second method, this is the only time I will double knit the end so I can have that curve going this way. That is why I double knit it. But otherwise, if I'm just making the body of the blanket, I'm going to continue skipping it until it's time to cast off. So same way to cast off, is either you knit and pull over, which is what I prefer, or you can fold this one over to the next stitch and knit both of them at the same time. You can fold over and knit the two at the same time. So whichever one you find easier for you, you can do that. Okay. Okay, I better go to my preferred method, which is knit and pull over. No, that is too small. Knit and pull over. So the cast off chains, you want to make sure is still about 3 fingers wide so it doesn't disrupt the shape of the blanket or the size of the blanket. Now I'm at the end, that's that one, then cut it off and finish. So now we're done. So let's pretend this is one huge giant 6-foot blanket. This is the first one that I made. This is the first one. Look at the edges, the border here, the cast off is the same because we casted off the same way. That is how the cast off border is looking like, because it's the same method to cast off. Then the cast on. This is the cast on. See how flat it is looking? It's looking really flat. Let me move this one up. It's looking really flat here. That's because we pulled from the top part. Now this is the second one. We pulled from the middle. See how nicely braided it's looking. Let me put the two of them side by side. See, this one has that nice French braid. I hope that's what it's called. It has that nice braid. Let's just keep it at braids. It has that nice braid, but this one is looking flat. Same applies to the sides. So this is the second method of skipping the end stitches. To skip the end stitches, this is how nicely braided it's looking. But this one, this is the first method. We were double knitting. It's still looking flat. Okay. Same applies to the left side. It's looking flat. But look at this one. It's looking nicely braided. So the first method, the only place that is looking really nicely braided is the cast off. Every other part is just looking really flat. The borders, the edges are looking really flat. Okay, but look at the second one. Braided, it continued, braided, continued, braided, on the side, braided. So those are the 2 ways you can start and make your chunky knit blanket, but those are the 2 differences. The body is the same. The body of the blanket is the same. The difference is how the edges look, especially the bottom and the sides. Did you find this tutorial helpful? If you did, don't forget to click that like button and hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the bell icon so you'll be notified anytime I make a video or anytime I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.